All right. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Welcome. And in this video, we're going to talk about Laravel Reverb, which was announced in Laracon EU last February. And well, it's kind of fun. So, but first of all, if you like what we're doing here, give it a subscribe, give it a like, share it with your friends, and well, that really helps. So, without further ado, let's dive into Laravel Reverb. Here we go. Okay, so I just installed a new Laravel project called Reverb Demo. I'm quickly going to cd into it, so Reverb Demo. And first of all, I'm going to install Livewire. So Composer require Livewire, and that will install Livewire for us. All right, so while this is installing, I'm basically going to create a small application that allows us to chat with each other in real time using Laravel Reverb. So basically, I want two users to be logged in, and I want a data table with the messages that we've sent across. So first of all, I'm going to create a seeder. So in database, I'm going to make this a bit bigger for you. In database migrations, database seeders, database seeder, there is some boilerplate here that we're going to reuse. And I'm going to say Freddy, like that, Freddy, and let's call the other one Eddie. All right, Eddie, with a capital E, of course. Eddie. All right, Eddie and Freddy. Great. Next up, I'm going to create a migration. So I'm going to head over to Warp again. PHP artisan make migration. No, sorry, I'm going to make a model. So make a model message -m for a migration. That creates the model and the migration for us. And we're going to go into migrations, and here the new created migration. I'm going to call it message. So it will be a text like that, and we're going to call it message. And we're going to also add this to a user. So we're going to add it to a table integer of the user ID. There we go. All right, so basically this is a very simple database table called messages, which has a user ID and a message. And we have a timestamp, so that's basically quite easy, right? Next up, we're going to make sure we have the relationships set up. So into models, so app models message. This basically is going to be a public function user, which actually returns this, and it belongs to a user class. There we go. And in the user, we can actually do the inverse thing. So this will have a public function of messages, and this will return this has many message clause, like that. And what did I do? Two semicolons. There we go. Two columns and a semicolon. Hit save. All right. So that's basically it for our prerequisites of our data structure. So we can head over to Warp again and perform PHP artisan migrate -- seed. And now I should be able to log in with Eddie and Freddy. Let's go head over to the browser here. So now I have a login and a register. If I hit login, let me put this a bit bigger here. With Freddy of example.com, and user password because it's the default of the factory. Hit login, and now Freddy is logged in. Great. So that's basically how that works. Awesome. All right. Next up, I want to create a Livewire component which has a chat for us, and that is going to take place in a route. So we're basically going to create a route in the routes folder in here, and I'm going to place it also in this route group here because I also want it to be authentic. You want users to be authenticated, right? So let's call it route, and well, it's a get route, and I want it to be chat, like that. Function, like so, and I want it to return a view that's called chat. And we're basically going to copy over the dashboard. So I'm also going to give it a name of chat, like that. And I want to copy over the dashboard, right? So in resources views, we have the dashboard, which is the X layout and stuff like that. And I want to take a copy of this, and I'm going to call it chat.blade.php. There we go. And we call this chat. And in here, the Livewire component will go here. So Livewire component will be here. All right. To make this work, I want to add it to the navigation as well. So in layout navigation, in the dashboard here, I want to create another link, which is directing to chat. It is highlighted when chat, and it is called chat, like that. And that's it. So if I go to the browser again, now I have, routes inspected. Where is it? Route. I forgot the semicolon right here. So in the routes file, here a semicolon, refresh this. And now I have another error. Of course, what is the error? Chat is not defined. Okay, the route chat is not defined. Great. And that's because, well, let's check out warp with PHP artisan route list. And so it's right here, but there is no name, and that's because, all right, name is actually part of the route itself. So we need to put this behind the route and not behind the view, right? So let's delete this here, like that. If we refresh this, this should be fine. All right, so now I'm able to head over to chat. Chat, the Livewire component will be here. All right, great. That is what we want. So basically, now we can create our components. So let's head over to warp, PHP artisan, make Livewire, I'm going to make this a bit bigger for you as well, Livewire, and we'll call it chat component. This creates a class for us and a view. All right, great. So in the view, I'm going to start with the view in Livewire here. So that is resources, views, Livewire, and in there we have the chat component. And basically what I want here is just an input and a list of all the messages that has been sent before this conversation. So let's create a form which has a wire submit of actually the function that should be called. So how should we call it? We're going to call it submit message, like that. All right, in here we're going to have an input. Doesn't matter, this is only a demo, so I'm not really going to style this or anything. So an input, but I'm going to use the X text input, sorry, and that has basic styling. And the X text input, we're going to call it wire model model, and it's called message. And just for the beauty of things, we're going to give it a button as well of the type submit. There we go. And we're going to call it send. There we go. So this basically will give us the component, and we're going to chain up the component in the chat.blade with @Livewire, and then the component name. So that's chat component. Whoops, I don't need the Livewire dot here. There we go. So, whoops, Livewire, not Livewire. All right, so this is basically our form. If I hit enter, we're going to run into an error message because the submit function does not exist. All right, great. So let's see. Now we head over to the component code in app Livewire chat component. All right, in here, I'm going to create a public property. So public message. This is going to have the message that we're going to send over the wire. Then we're going to create a public property called convo for conversation, and this basically is just an empty array. All right. So now we can create our submit message function. So function, public function submit, submit message. There we go. And in the submit message, we're going to do a few things. First of all, we're going to store the message into the database. So I'm going to create a new message. So I'm going to call it the message. And well, actually, I'm not going to store it in here. So let's scratch that. I'm going to store it in the event. So basically, what we want to do is dispatch the event in here. So dispatch the event. And then we're going to reset our input. So this message like so. And we're going to dump, just to make sure this works, this message like that. And if we head over to the, whoops, what did I do wrong? Of course, semicolon here. There we go. Oops, save it. Yes. Refresh. If I now send a test, we dump the test. If we click away, nothing happens. And this is quite okay right now. So next up, we're going to create the event. So head over to warp, PHP artisan, make event message event. And while we're in warp, I'm also going to install Reverb. So PHP artisan install broadcasting. And as of Laravel 11, you'll be prompted with a question, hey, do you actually want to install Laravel Reverb for this? Of course, we're going to say yes. And this will install Reverb under the hood for you. So you might notice that this is using React PHP under the hood, which is kind of awesome. And it will also ask you if you want to have the node dependencies. Go ahead, yes on that as well. And this will install everything for you. All right, so we created this event, message event, and we're going to implement. So we're going to make the message implements, all right, and it implements should broadcast. But I'm going to use should broadcast now because I don't want the queue to be running for this demo. All right, I also want this to be on a normal channel. I don't need a private channel, and we're going to call it our channel, like this. Okay, next up in the constructor, we're going to accept a message and a user ID. So user ID and the message. And in here, we're going to actually create the new message. So this will be the new message, and let me check once. Yeah, this will be new message, like so. And in the new message, I could use the create function as well, because yeah, it's in there, but I need to make the fields fillable and things like that, and it's quicker to do it like this for now. So this will be the user ID, and in the new message, this will be the message as well. There we go. And after that, we want to save. Whoops. New message save, like that. All right. And I need a semicolon here. And in the event itself, which is going to be broadcasted, I want two public properties to be able to be listened for. So whenever the event is shipped, I want the data object of this event to have the message and the user ID, or even the username. So I want a public property of username, and I want a public property of the message itself. Two columns right here, and I want this, this message to be equal to message, and I want this username to be equal to user, find the user ID, so user ID, and I want the name. And I need to import user, of course, so model user, and I also need the message. So this should be in here already. All right, it is. And so now whenever this event is dispatched, in the data object where I'm going to listen for it, we will have the message and user ID. The username. All right. So basically, now I should be able to dispatch this. So instead of dumping this, I'm going to message event like this, column dispatch, and remember we need a user ID and a message. So the user is actually auth user ID, and the message is this message. All right, so this is basically it for dispatching our message and storing it in a database and so on. And I still need auth to be working, right? So let's import that as well. There we go. Now if we test this, refresh, test, and I don't have, okay, I still need to run my migration. So PHP artisan migrate. Oh yeah, of course I already seeded it, but what is going on then? Of course Reverb isn't running. Okay, so the event is being, what is happening here is the event is being dispatched on the Reverb queue, which is basically the default queue right now. Sorry, the default broadcasting mechanism. So we need to actually PHP artisan reverb start And now we should be able to actually refresh, hit test, and hit test a few times. All right, so that should be in the database. So if I head over to the database right here, SQLite, yeah, open it anyway. I'm going to use the built-in one. Well, yeah, you can see this here are actually the timestamps of when I was hitting the test thing. Okay, so quickly going to kill this again. PHP artisan migrate fresh dash as seed, because I was spamming the input. And I'm going to start the server again in a few moments, but I'm quickly going to add the functionality to mount all the messages that we need. Okay, so in our chat component, I'm going to create a function. So public function mount, and in this mount function, I want to collect all of the conversations that we have. So messages equals to message. And for now, I know this isn't a really good practice, but I want them all. Okay. And I'm going to loop over all the messages that we have. So messages as message, and I actually want to build up the convo with these messages, and this will be actually the same thing as we have in our listener in a moment. So I want an array which has the username, so that this will basically be the message user name, like this. And I also want this to be the message, which will contain message. This is kind of weird, but it's correct. Message. All right, so that should be it. There we go. Okay, so we still need to add this to our component view. So let's head over here, the Livewire view. So that's in resources views, Livewire chat component. And just on top here, I want a for each, which has the convo. And we're going to call it convo item. And I basically want the convo item to say the username, convo item, and this will be an array right now. So username, colon, the convo item array, and I want this to have the message. Okay, so basically we're looping over all the conversation items and we're printing out username and the message that they sent. We dispatch the event, it gets added to the database, and it's pushed over to the broadcasting mechanism being Reverb, but we're still not listening for it, so we still need to refresh and do things. Okay, so basically what we have to do now is create that listener that we need, right? So I'm going to create another public function, and I'm going to add it in here. So public function, and we're going to call it what we're going to call it, listener. Listen for message. Okay, this will take in a parameter of data, and data is every property that is inside of our event. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to copy this here. We're going to add this to the conversation. Instead of message, this will be data, and the data will be the username, because we called it username. And the message, of course, and the data will also be the message. And that will be added to the conversation, being our public property here. So that should basically work. Now, what we still need to do is we still need to tell it, hey, you need to listen on the reverb channel, being how did we call it? I think our channel or something like that in the message event. Yeah, our channel, and you need to listen for this type of event. So that's what we're going to do right now. So we're going to use the attribute, Livewire attribute for this on, which basically, if we import that, there we go. This is, where did it go? Livewire attribute on. And this allows us to actually listen for events. So, and we need to tell it, hey, you need to use echo for this. You need to listen on the R channel, because that's how we called our channel. We call it our channel, and a comma, and we need to tell it, hey, you need to listen for the message event. There we go. And whenever the message event is fired upon the R channel broadcasting channel, this will actually be triggered and be put to the data. But you can guess it already, we don't want to have duplicate messages, so we're not going to have that, because in the mount function, which is only going to be ran the first time, we're going to populate the messages that are in the database. The event itself will add the message to the database and will distribute over the broadcasting channel all the new messages that has been sent afterwards. And every client will update their own instance of those messages with the incoming message. I hope this makes some sense. So the reverb channel is still running, great. And now if we do another test, hi there, it's sent, but we didn't update for it. What happened? Let me check. Do I have some issues here? I'm just going to quickly npm run build. There we go. PHP artisan reverb start. And let's go. So hi, and that is okay. Attempt to read property on array. Okay, so that's actually an issue that we made. I think I use it as an object. Of course, this is basically, yeah, this is just wrong. This needs to be an array. Like this. And if we refresh here and we say hi there again, it's actually updated, which is cool, right? But we're going to add another browser to the mix. There we go. And this will be Eddie of the example. Welcome, Eddie. Password. And so we have Eddie and Freddy. And wait, never. Eddie is now logged in. And why don't I have, okay, I didn't provide, okay. There we go. So we have Eddie and Freddy. Why is this, okay, this isn't the same size, but you get the picture. And now actually Eddie can actually respond here. Hi, Freddy. And Freddy can ask, how are you? There we go. So I think you get the picture, right? We can send messages to each other in real time using Laravel Reverb. I'm using Livewire for this to just quickly create this. You can use Livewire with Volt. You can use just plain Laravel with blade templating and Alpine. But yeah, I think this is kind of amazing that we can have a WebSocket server inside of our Laravel project right now. So yeah, I hope you learned something from this, and I hope you create some awesomeness with this. Be sure to put them in the comments down below so I can check out what you made. And yeah, give it a like, give it a subscribe, and I will see you in one of the next videos. Take care. Bye bye.